Hey folks, this is the intro to the course. I'm Dr. G, and here's what we're doing in the class. So Intro to Technical Writing is really a course that's about learning a technical and professional communication sort of habit of mind. So if you are to think about technical writing, I want you to think about a way of processing complex information and communicating it to a variety of audiences in a way that is clear, concise, well-designed, and accessible, right? So boom, that's it, right? And so throughout the course, we are going to be doing 4 different exercises that are all sort of building off of each other. The first is info doodling, which is kind of neat and a nice sort of gentle way to start the semester. And then from there, we are going to be moving into 2 smaller assignments that build into a bigger assignment. The first small assignment is technical descriptions, and think about technical descriptions is like if you were to look at this coffee cup, right? And you'd be like, oh, I describe this. You'd be like, oh, it's white and it's got a little dog on it, right? But technical descriptions are asking you to get way more detailed. So it's really kind of like refamiliarizing you or making unfamiliar what you think you already know how to do. And really expanding that. So that's technical descriptions. And then from there, we're going to do technical instructions. So once we learn how to do technical descriptions and technical instructions, which, fold in other learning outcomes like understanding how to design graphics, understanding document design, like understanding technical writing style. Once we do those things in these smaller exercises, we're going to be doing a team project, and I'm still trying to figure out how to do this in a panini in the sense that right, we're in a situation where asking y'all to kind of smush together seems not a good idea. But anyway, we are going to do some group project that is going to ask you to use these STEM Lego blocks. There are some that you can check out from the library, but you can also buy your own, and I list it in the syllabus, a link to do that. But basically, y'all are going to build a toy and then create an assembly manual, right, which is your biggest assignment. That includes, graphics, doc design, technical descriptions, instructions, right, and collaborative writing. That's the other thing that's really important for me to emphasize about technical writing. I know that we all have those like, oh God, we've got a group project. This is terrible. But the thing about technical writing is that there is never going to be a situation for you as a technical writer, if that's what Future You does, or Future You works with technical writers. Technical writing is always collaborative, so it's actually a key learning component of the course, right? But it is kind of fun. So I want you to think about the fact that I'm presenting you with this sort of portable toolkit of different ways of thinking about writing and thinking about communication and clarity and design that is going to carry you into other courses, okay? So that is the course in a nutshell. You can obviously read this course policies and other helpful info, right? But I kind of go through what the required materials are. You are going to need a Slack account. It's free. Most people access it on Slack on their phones, or you can bring a computer or a tablet with you to class. You can access one through the Academic Learning Commons. It doesn't matter to me whether you're on your phone or on something else, right? And for that reason, because of the ways that discussion is sort of made a bit more difficult when we're all wearing masks in the classroom, and we can't do these small group discussions because social distancing, the safe 8 now, the Flash is safe 8. Anyway, so we're going to be doing these discussions on Slack. So you are going to need to be able to access Slack during class and so forth. Obviously, you'll want to access Kent State's G Suite, Google Docs, Google Drive, etc. And then the Whirligig STEM toys. All right, so those are the requirements. If you are deciding to hang out in the class with me, because remember that you can take this course as an in-person course as it's listed, but I'm also giving you the option to do it remotely, right? So you can take this class either way. But if you are in the classroom, you may decide that you want to get some headphones, and so that's just something to think about. So I've already described the assignment overview for you, so that's neat. And then this just is going to give you a breakdown of the points, right? So there are major assignments. There are actually 4. I need to tweak this a tiny bit. I think it's because don't worry. that the info doodling thing is down below. I'll move it up. Tech writing. So anyway, these are 60 points that are for the technical description, the instructions, and then the assembly manual, okay? And you'll see that you get points for the project itself, but also for participating in peer review. And peer review is really, really important in tech writing, and it's gonna be a little bit different than like, I really like your idea, right? Instead it's like, actually, no, like this is how this needs to be formatted, or, you know, this is, you know, here are the criteria for clarity in terms of doing things like even creating a bulleted list, right? That's the kind of stuff we're getting into. So that's the other thing that you want to keep in mind about technical writing, is that we're also developing this habit of mind where we are accepting feedback about what isn't clear and what isn't consistent and usable, and being like, oh, right on, and then just doing it, right? Because technical writing requires that kind of humility, right? And it's always about centering the reader's experience. So it's not like, oh, you just don't get my genius. Like that's not something that tech writers can do, right? So there's that. Yeah, so this is just gonna kind of go through these types of things. The one thing I do want to say about like late assignments is that I don't, with the technical description and the technical instructions, the ones you do on your own, I don't have a late policy in the sense like, oh, you lose points if you don't turn this in. The thing that happens is that if you turn in an assignment late, instead of me like reading your draft and giving you feedback, like written feedback, if you turn it in late, no points are taken off. When I give you the grade, it's just going to be the grade on it, because it's kind to you, but it's also kind to me because it allows me to make sure that I am like traveling along with the rest of the course and like working on the things that peers who are on the timeline, on the current timeline are doing, right? So it's sort of like kindness to me, but kindness to you as well, right? Reciprocity, all right? So there's that. There are also active reading exercises, which I'm going to explain to you, but it's basically a team lift for reading assigned homework. Slack discussion forums, it just kind of makes sense, but like during the semester, there are going to be these various discussion forums, and you're going to get points for participating, which makes sense, right? And they're never like, oh, I want you to write this tome, right? That's not what this is. So it's not going to be feel like the soul death that like responding to a discussion forum on Blackboard is. So just, yeah, know that. Also, please don't be turds to each other on Slack. I'm just saying that, like, we're all dealing with so much. Just be cool, right? So there's like this whole thing about like, don't do all these things, basically, right? Because I enjoy having an easygoing sort of situation with students, like that sort of mutual respect. But obviously, if something goes like pear-shaped on the on Slack, I'm going to have to intervene. So just know that, like, if we could just skip that part and not do it, that would be super. Just saying that as a personal favor there. And then the info doodles, which I already talked to you about, that's like another piece of what we're doing. So there's that. How to contact me during class. If you're in the classroom, raise your hand. But you can also use the Ask a GPAT channel on Slack. And just like type your question in there, or you can direct message me on Slack. I always have my phone with me, and I'll have it on so that I can hear students asking questions, right? You can email me, but I would actually recommend just sending me a message on Slack, because I get something like 60 email messages a day. Most of them are from my colleagues. Most of them are listserv messages. So think about Slack and messaging me on Slack as a way of like jumping that line so that it gets you a lot faster. And so in a way, I think Slack is super cool because you're going to have a lot more hands-on attention from me. My office hours are 8:30 to 9:30 a.m. on Tuesday and Thursday. You can either call me on my phone, or you can also hang out with me on Zoom. I'm doing my stuff on Zoom. Because again, Flash is safe 8 now, I guess, right? So just sort of keep all that in mind, okay? And that is the intro to the course. Let's have a good semester. I know that this is still weird, but let's have a good time.